Hey guys, today we're going to talk about the Vigilant Steward Zskarn, which is the third boss that we got to test, though it looks like it'll be a little bit later down the line in terms of the bosses we'll actually see in the raid, but it's the one that we got to test on the third day of testing. So with that being said, just keep in mind that all of this is subject to change, but we can go ahead and talk about the general overview of how this fight should work. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start off with the mechanics. Alright, so the first mechanic we'll talk about is Unstable Embers. This will be targeted on several players at once, and will deal a decent chunk of damage over 10 seconds. Also, anyone within 5 yards of them will also take the same damage, so make sure you're giving those people some space. Next up is Blast Wave. Zskarn will knock back all players away from him, dealing a ton of damage and putting on a small dot that will last for 6 seconds. Next up, we have Shrapnel Bombs. The boss will throw out several bombs across the ground, which, after 30 seconds if not dealt with, will explode, which will almost always result in a wipe. The way to handle this is to have the tank that is not currently engaged with the boss run over these bombs and soak them. Just note that you will incur a stacking dot each time you soak a bomb, so you might need to wait for this debuff to fall off before soaking more. Our tanks were able to take 2 stacks of the debuff fairly comfortably, but it might be different based on your tanks. Throughout the fight, the boss will also cast Dragonfire Traps. This will cause several tiles of the floor to emit fire that will act as area denial. Keeping that in mind, occasionally animated golems will spawn at the sides of the room and move towards a tile with the intent of activating it. They are susceptible to all forms of CC and can be interrupted when trying to activate a trap. Once killed, they can be clicked on to gain the extra action button, which will allow you to deactivate one trap. You will never be able to loot enough of these to get rid of all of the traps, so make sure you're planning out which ones you want to remove. Throughout the fight, the boss will be gaining energy, and at 100 energy will cast Tactical Destruction. This will activate the dragon statues around the room, dealing essentially one-shot damage in a wide arc around one of the statues. Each time he casts this will increase the amount of dragon statues that are activated, starting with 1, then 2, and then so on. He will always activate the statues closest to him, so the tanks can determine which ones get activated. And finally, Searing Claws, which will serve as your tank swap mechanic. This is a debuff that will stack up and last for 20 seconds. Easiest way to handle this is to let the first tank get to 8 to 10 stacks, and from there just swap off anytime the previous tank's stacks have expired. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about how this boss works in practice. So there's a lot of mechanics that go out very quickly right at the beginning, so I'll be pausing a lot to kind of explain how it kind of works. The first thing that I want to talk about is when you pull him, it'll probably always be right to pull him over to the side of the room. One of the things that we found that you can do is that he always puts mines close to where he is, and then like one of them will be randomly throughout the room. Sometimes it's close by, but sometimes it's on the other side of the arena. It just seemed to be variance. So we will be baiting 2 of these mines very close to the wall, and then from there we can kind of put them where we want them other than that one random one. And that might be based on our raid size, not 100% sure, but for us we were getting 3 mines for every cast. The big overlap to look out for healers is going to be this Unstable Embers, as well as the following Blast Wave. So whenever Blast Wave and Unstable Embers goes out at the same time, there's going to be a ton of raid-wide damage, especially to the people who actually have these Embers. So as you can see here, as Blast Wave comes out, we're going to be getting a ton of raid-wide damage. It just puts that dot on everyone that just absolutely trucks us. So this is something that you might want to consider using healing rotations for your different cooldowns for every single blast wave, just as a precaution, because blast wave is like the big damage, but when it overlaps with those embers, those people with the embers are going to be in trouble. So if you do have an ember during a blast wave, probably want to use a defensive as well. So next we have these traps that are going to come out. Like I said, we've got 2 of them baited here, and then we got this one fairly close, but like I said, it could have been anywhere. The other thing that I forgot to mention, we'll back it up just a bit because there's just a lot that happens all at once right here at the beginning. We also get these shrapnel bombs that you can see coming out, and we have one right there, and one over here. You'll notice that the paladin, who is not on the boss currently, will come out. He's actually going to go ahead and use Divine Shield, and he's just going to run through all 4 of them at once so that he doesn't have to worry about getting the debuff. I don't know if you want to be using an invulnerability right at the beginning, but for testing purposes, we were just trying to last as long as we could here. So if you are getting Unstable Embers like I am right here, you know, you might not need to have like healing cooldowns. You might need to just watch your own health. But as you can see, even just this is my only source of damage being taken, I'm still really yo-yoing with my health. So that's definitely something that you'll need to look out for. When you get these golems come out, they come out at different sides of the room. They died super quickly during testing, so you may not need to like do anything super crazy with them or worrying about overlapping grips. That might be something that you might consider for Mythic. But here we were able to kill them pretty much every time without them even getting to the point of needing to interrupt them or like pull them away or anything like that. We were very easily being able to switch to them and kill them before they really became an issue. Now, one thing that you can't really see, and once again, I'm going to back it up here. When we get this blast wave during the boss, so he's going to summon those golems, and then we're going to get a blast wave that is going to knock us back across the room. So here's that blast wave, and then if you'll notice up here, you can see it. He's going to start casting Tactical Destruction. So I won't show it because I'm facing away, but the Tactical Destruction is activating one of the dragon head pillars behind us. But what we decided to do is use the blast wave to knock us across the room away from where that dragon head pillar was being activated. So now we can just start pulling the boss over here, and now the melee don't have to worry about moving anymore. The Tactical Destruction goes off behind us, and we're not worrying about it so much. The other thing that you might want to do and might consider doing is instead of just staying over here, after Tactical Destruction goes off, then pulling the boss back over here so you can bait the mines next to the other mines against the side of the room here and just kind of keep them more grouped. Obviously, things like these ones here are definitely going to want to get deactivated. Anything in the center of the room is going to be always going to be something that you'll want to deal with. But if we had pulled him back over here, we could have like maybe gotten the mines to be in places that we're not going to really need them moving forward, because if we had pulled them over here, then these would probably be the next two pillars that he would have been activating. And then when we get knocked back again, we're not having to worry about hitting any of these because they've already gotten, you know, the pillars are here, these are being activated, the mines are here. So we can kind of just like keep everything to one corner until we run out of room over there. But you can also do this crisscross that we were doing. Anytime we got blast wave, we just switched sides, and that's less movement overall. So I'm not sure which strategy is going to work out best long run, but this is what we were doing. We were doing more of a crisscross. So that's pretty much it. I mean, that's pretty much the whole fight. It's going to be a lot about position, about maintaining or making sure that you're getting rid of the traps that you want to get rid of, making sure that the traps that you're able to bait are probably out of your way to the best of your ability. So yeah, I mean, overall, I think this is a super fun fight. I think I really like the idea of the soft enrage of the room filling up with mines, as well as the dragon head pillars being a constant threat that's slowly going to result in an actual hard wipe. So as you can see here, we baited these two here. So on the next time that he used Tactical Destruction, it would have been 3 pillars. And the other big thing that it's really hard to see here, this extends all the way out past the middle of the room. I do need to actually point that out. You can't really see it, but you can just barely see the fire. When it does this last burst, it goes out across the middle of the room. It's a ton of, like, it's a one-shot damage as well as it goes super far. So you're going to very quickly run out of room. So like I said, so far this is my favorite fight on the PTR that we've seen out of the 4 that we've seen so far. Really creative, a ton of damage to contend with. We didn't get a chance to kill it, unfortunately, but I am looking forward to doing this on live, as well as seeing the mythic version of it. So that's pretty much it. A nice little overview of how this fight is going to work. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I stream at Twitch at twitch.tv/Ridmark. I'll be doing all the PTR testing live. So if you're interested in that, feel free to come check me out. I also do Mythic Plus keys and just hang out. But other than that, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comments. And other than that, I will see you in the next video.